Kiss. You finished the last little bit of your drink. You're feeling pretty drunk at this point, but you're nowhere near Uchek. You're kind of just taking in the quiet hum of the ship as it takes off, and you kind of start drifting off in your sleepiness a little bit, and your vision kind of starts to go as your eyelids get heavy, and you suddenly just feel very cold, as if everything around you is just extremely cold. You feel like metal object in your right hand. You're clutching onto it for dear life. Your hands and your feet and pretty much your entire body is going numb. You can feel your heartbeat slowing. You manage to look around. You see stars all around you. And amongst those stars, much, much closer, is just debris, bits of metal, and you can feel yourself just getting colder and colder. You feel it in your bones, and you start to see a spot in front of you. Basically, the stars start to just blink out one by one as you see this space in front of you growing, and it fills your vision as it basically just consumes these stars. You hear this deep, very far away cackling. And as you can feel yourself dying, you hear this cackling get louder. And you hear a very familiar voice start to speak to you.
The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all of its contents. You live on a placid island of ignorance, in the midst of black seas of the infinity, and it was not meant that you should voyage far.
You see massive tendrils, black and shadowy, crawl out of where the stars were and start to wrap around you as you feel even colder, but somehow it's comforting. Your vision goes completely dark, and you see a small strip of light out in front of you. You look down at it, and you're sort of trying to figure out what it is. And you realize you're looking at light coming from underneath a door. And you look around the door, and around on all sides of you, and you just see nothing but stars. But at the same time, you can see the very faint, gentle outline of a square room all around you. You try to reach out towards these stars, but find that your arms are locked in a position around your chest, and you can barely move any of your limbs. You feel your throat rumbling, and you feel a tickle in your mind as, without even realizing, you start to speak, and you hear yourself say,
"A sickened, sensitive shadow writhing in hands that are not hands, and whirling blindly past ghastly midnights of rotting creation, corpses of dead worlds with sores that were once cities, charnel winds that brush the pallid stars and make them flicker low, beyond the world's vague ghosts of monstrous things, half-seen columns of unsanctified temples that rest on nameless rocks beneath space and reach up to dizzy vacua above the spheres of light and darkness. And through this revolting graveyard of the universe, the muffled, maddening beating of drums, and thin, monotonous whine of blasphemous flutes from inconceivable unlighted chambers beyond time. The detestable pounding and piping whereunto they dance slowly, awkwardly, and absurdly the gigantic, tenebrous, ultimate gods. The blind, voiceless, mindless gargoyles whose soul is void.
You take a couple moments to catch your breath, and you hear a gentle scratching from beyond the door. And you hear a man's voice say,
The story gets stranger and stranger as we go. Are you sure you're even coherent?
You feel a smile crack across your face, and you feel that tickle in your mind again. And you can't help but let out a slight chuckle, which turns into more of a laugh, which turns into a guttural response, a cacophony of laughter that echoes across these distant, endless walls around you. And we'll pick up next time.